Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Next Level webinar. Our Reliv mission is to nourish the world in mind, body and spirit, and this week our webinar is about business strategy. Hello, my name is Birch. I'm the Sales Manager for Reliv Asia Pacific. Talking about business strategy, what you're going to see is basic principles of business strategy for any business, but what I'm going to do is explain to you how these basic business strategy principles can be applied to your Reliv business. Firstly, I'm going to use the 7 steps as suggested by biz.co.uk, and you can see the 7 there. It's team culture, future thinking, strategic intent, analysis, strategic planning, types of strategy, and evaluation. First and foremost, one of the most important things is the culture that you want in your team. Now, people talk about organizational culture, and it is no different because what you're building is a Reliv business, and within that business you are building an organization of distributors who are your business partners. And what the culture is, as it says here, are the beliefs and values shared by people in an organization. So it's the beliefs and values shared by you and the people, the distributors in your downline organization. And it doesn't matter what level you're at. If you're looking to build a business and build leadership, then you need to be aware of the culture that you are creating. And if you're part of a bigger organization with upline ambassador, it's a matter of having shared beliefs and values with that upline ambassador so that your whole organization is operating with the same team culture. And you can see what it says here. It's how people behave with each other. It's how you behave with your customers and your prospects. How you view your relationship with stakeholders. And stakeholders is everybody. That's you. That's your downline. That's your prospects. That's your customers. That's Reliv the company. And it's also your family, your spouses, your partners. People who may not necessarily be in the business but are affected by what happens with your business. So your relationship with all stakeholders is important, how people view that. It's how people respond to the energy, to the team involvement, to absence. If people are not around, and that's not creating a good culture if they don't show up. You need people to commit and be there to create the right culture and a work ethic so that people are prepared to put in the effort that's required to create financial independence. And of course, how the leader behaves with their team is so important because that is where the culture begins. And I tell you what, the culture of your team can be reflected very much in the attitude and the behavior of the leadership. And it is so important when we talk about leading by example. We talk about stepping up. Our previous 12-month theme for all our events was take the lead. And it's about attitude and behavior. Now it's about going the next level. And that is creating the right culture and having the right attitude and behavior from leaders so that that will filter down through everyone. And it's also the attitude to the role of all the individuals in the team. Because everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and it's a matter of working with those strengths and weaknesses to build your team to get that community feeling, get that sense of belonging that people need, that people really want. Get that. Because then the image that's presented to the outside world creates a good vibe of people looking in at you and your team. And remember, people are attracted to people who are having fun, who are having a good time, and where there's great energy. And of course, it's also reflected in the attitude to change because change happens in the world. Change happens in life. Change happens within Reliv. And you've got to be able to accept that and move forward and have that positive attitude towards change as part of your team culture. The next thing is future thinking. It's about where do you want to be? Where do you want your team to be? Where do you want the emerging leaders to be? Where do you want all of your organization to be? And what are you going to do to get there, and when do you want to be there? You've got to sit down and you need to think about this. Too many people start in this business and they just head off. And that's okay. Great enthusiasm. Get going. Get out there. Talk to people. But once you're starting to really build a business, you have got to put in some future thinking as to where you want to be, when you want to get there, and what you have to do to actually make that happen. That's so important, that thinking about it, being clear. Because from this future thinking, what comes is your strategic intent. And as I said here, that's your focus. If you've thought about where you want to be, you've thought about what you have to do, you've thought about when you want to be there, that can give you focus. It'll give you direction. And this is what your strategic intent is. And you must do this to be successful. You can't just wander around. You need to know if you really want to build a great business with a great residual income to create your own financial freedom, then you need to do this. It's okay if you just want it as a hobby and you just want to earn a small income just to help with car payments or just to help pay the bills. It's okay as a hobby. You don't need to get into it if you don't want to, and it's your choice, remember. You signed up as a distributor out of choice, and it's your choice as to what you want to do with your business. But if you want financial freedom, then you need to seriously treat it as a business. You need that focus, you need that direction, you need your strategic intent, and you have to have the right attitude to maintain that focus and that direction. Do not be diverted, do not be distracted. And again, it's coming down to that thinking about the business. Once you've started and heading in the right direction, it's easy to fall into the habit where you can't see the forest for the trees because you're working in the business. You're out there, you're sponsoring, and things are happening. You've got to regularly step back and work on the business and not in the business. You've got to regularly step back and have an objective viewpoint and have a look at the overall forest. Think about what it is that you want and make sure that your direction and your focus is right, that you are staying with your strategic intent. The key factor then is to analyze. You need to analyze your own core competencies. Analyze the core competencies of the people in your group, of your emerging leaders. Work with them on their core competencies, because I tell you one thing, it's easier to get someone to be great at something they're already good at than it is to get someone to be good at something they're not. So look at what your core competencies are. What are you really good at? And become fantastic at it. Doesn't mean you ignore other things, but if you get really, really good at your competencies, then it's going to help you so much in building your business. And a great way to do this with the analysis is what's called a SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that's very simply looking at yourself. In this case, it's your business and yourself. So you're looking at what are your strengths? What are the strengths that you bring to the table in building the business? What are the strengths that you bring to the table to build your organization and help the people that you're sponsoring? What are your weaknesses? What are the areas that you can actually improve? And be honest with yourself. That's one of the key factors. If you want to improve, you need to be honest with yourself. And I spoke about that in a webinar just a few weeks ago. You have a look at the opportunities that there are. And that's not just for you, but for your business, for your whole organization. Sit down as a team and work out where are the opportunities that you can benefit from. And remember, when you have the right attitude and you're open to opportunities, they actually appear before you. If you get caught up and you think now you're having a bad month or whatever, you close down that ability to see the opportunities. Open the window for opportunities. Keep it open at all times. And then look at the threats. And I tell you what, when you're building your Reliv business, most threats come from within. Most threats come from yourself. It's from self-sabotage, from self-doubt, from low self-image, from low self-esteem, from fear of failure. So many things. Just look at what those threats are and work on them. And again, we talked about that in other webinars. Go back, look for those webinars and use them. These webinars are designed for training. They're not designed to just watch once on a Monday and forget about them forever. They're designed for you to be able to go back. You can go and you can look on the website. You can look on our training website and all of the webinars are there for you. So analysis is so important in your business, and then it comes down, once you've done all that, is to actually creating a strategic plan. And you need to start with the vision, and that's decide what your vision is, communicate to your team where you're all going to be in the future. Because what that does is it allows you to set team goals and individual goals. And the goals and the tactics are important because the goal is obviously your target, and your objectives, or tactics, whatever you want to call it, is the way in which you are going to achieve your goals. It's really that simple. So set your goals, then your objectives are how you're going to go about it. The example, your goal may be for all your team members to advance 2 levels over the next 6 months. And your objectives or tactics on how to do that is to develop a larger possibilities list. You should have at least 200 people. Yes, I said 200 people on your possibilities list at any time, because that's where you draw your prospects from. Because you're looking around as you go through life and you're popping every single person that you come into contact with onto your possibilities list. And then from that, you identify who are the hotter prospects and you go after them first. So these are the tactics that you can use. You speak to 3 people every day. That may be a tactic. You may want to speak to 5. You may only have time to speak to 2, whatever. But you actually have to set that down. You may, part of one of your other tactics or objectives may be to show the business plan 5 times a week. It may be to show the plan twice a week. Again, whatever works for you in the time that you have to build your Reliv business. Then you need to look at the type of strategy that you're going to use. And it's good if you're clear on what you are going to talk about. A lot of people like to lead with the product. But I tell you what, most really successful people in this business lead with the business. They will leverage off the product, but they lead with the business. Because you can have 1,000 customers on your product, but it's your business builders who are going to create leverage for you so that you will create a great residual income, because your overrides are coming from your business builders. Your wholesale profits coming from your customers, but your overrides are going to come from your business builders. So you've got to decide what strategy you want and get good at it, whichever one you decide. And look at a referral strategy. Not enough people go after referrals. Every single person you speak to, if they say no, you should be asking them for a referral. Every single customer you have, be it a retail customer or a preferred customer, ask every single one of them for referrals. And if you haven't, go back to them. And if you have, go back to them. Because I'm telling you, people on the product and they're getting results, then they should be willing to share with you other people that they've thought of. And you never know, by doing that, you just may convert a preferred customer into a distributor who becomes a business builder. And remember, there is the preferred customer status and the distributor status. If someone is not interested in building a business, you should not sign them up as a distributor. They are a preferred customer. You are filling yourself and you're filling them. Okay, some people might want to sign up just so that they can get a bigger discount if they can afford to come in at that level. And if that's the case, so be it. But they will be treated as a distributor, as a business builder by the company. That's why we have preferred customers and distributors, and be clear on your strategy of what you're doing. And cold calling may be part of your strategy. A lot of people are scared of that, but I tell you what, you can get a lot of leads out of cold calling. But just be clear on what your strategy is, which way you want to go. When you've done all this, it's important to evaluate your business, and that comes through accountability to yourself and to your sponsor. Have a call sheet. Have an accountability sheet where on it you've actually got what your activities are, what your goals are for the week, and what your your achievements were for the week. Evaluate where you're going with your business. Evaluate it against your goals. Evaluate, if your goal was to advance 2 levels in 6 months, where are you after 3 months? How close are you to being there? Evaluate it because it determines the success and progress of your current strategy. And that is why evaluation is so important. But you've got to hold yourself accountable. And it's so important because it does determine the success and progress of your current strategy. And just remember this, when you evaluate, sometimes you may need to change something. You may need to tweak your strategy. And as it says here, if plan A didn't work, the alphabet has 25 more letters. Stay cool. Reevaluate, create, change what needs to be changed, keep your focus and direction clear,